I finally got the new Natasha Denona palette. This is the I Need a Nude palette, and I don't know if I need it. I have so many nude palettes, but this formula, I love Natasha Denona, so you can't go wrong with picking up this product. I picked mine up from Beautylish. I didn't see it on the Sephora Canada website, and it looks like this. It's so pretty. I'm so excited to have it. And I will compare it to some of my other Natasha Denona palettes I have in my collection. We are going to create, I think, one look. You guys have seen multiple looks with this palette. Look how beautiful it is. You can just create so many fun looks for something simple, one matte and that's it, or one matte and shimmer, or multiple mattes and multiple shimmers. So I really don't want to go into multiple looks because there's so many already on YouTube. However, I will be using this throughout my other videos, and you can see other looks I create with it as we go along. So today I'm going to do one look. We're going to focus more on the swatching and comparing and the one look. So I don't even know where to start. So this palette is inspired by the 20 plus shades in the I Need Nude lip collection, the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. This palette, the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude eyeshadow palette, it's such a long name, is an ensemble of essential everyday nude eyeshadows in Natasha's signature formulas, boosting from the lightest one to the deepest nude shades in neutral to pinkish undertones. This palette is made basically for every skin tone. You can create a day to night subtle and high glam nude look. Let's get started into swatching this palette. I don't know if you guys are interested in mattes. I'm thinking of just swatching the shimmers because mattes, you guys know the mattes, you can't go wrong with Natasha's mattes or shimmers. And mattes, sometimes they don't swatch as good as they apply and cannot give you a good representation. But let's go into the shimmers. I really don't want to touch it. Oh, they're so soft. I'm going to be very gentle. Okay, so here's a close-up of the actual shimmers. The first one, we have Whisper, and it's a light neutral pink with a metallic finish. I'm talking about this one right here. Then we have Ella. Ella is a warm fawn with a foiled metallic finish. So pretty. Travertine. It's a soft amber with a metallic finish. Delilah. Delilah is a silvery brown with a sparkling wet finish. Muse is a champagne with a foiled metallic finish. Look at that. It can still go on. Filigree. It's a medium neutral brown with a foiled metallic finish. Then we have this light one. It's called Sheen. It's a warm champagne with a sparkling wet finish. And this pretty pink one, Mia, such a cute name. It's a icy pink with a sparkling wet finish. So we have beautiful soft mattes in here, foiled metallics, and sparkling foiled finishes. You can see that I touched it. What I've noticed right away is this shade right here, Stone. It looks a little bit more dented in even before touching it. Some of them do move, which I think it's normal for them to move. But here's a comparison. This is like a midi palette, and here's a comparison to the Glam palette. So you can see that the Glam palette right here is a little bit more darker, and this one, the new one, it kind of looks more like a pastel version of the Glam palette. That's what I can best describe it to be, like a pastel version. This is more deeper. Yes, it's more cool tone, more warm tone, but if you were to remove these two shades right here, what I've noticed, it looks more cool tone, which it doesn't bother me because it's not a grungy grayish type of cool tone. It's very beautiful and elegant. And then here is the Biba palette. So this is what a large palette looks like compared to this one. So there's the Biba, which has more warm and has some cool tone in the last row, but also nice browns in there, golds, and a couple shimmers. So this has more mattes, and this one has shimmers and mattes. I wonder if it's half and half. Let's see. 7 mattes. I forgot the dark one. So 7 mattes and 8 shimmers, which is half and half. I love that. Okay, so let's get started. These are the... it's hard to show this way, but yeah, those are the shimmers. So let's get started with a look. I'm not sure what I want to use. I'm going to keep the shimmers. Out of the sparkly ones, I really love Whisper. So this is the one, Whisper, right here. That's kind of my favorite. I love Mia because it's very subtle, and I do love them all. They're so pretty. And Filigree right here. This is really pretty. So let's do a look with it. I have clean brushes so we can get started. Okay, so here's a close-up. I have my eye primer, which is my Alter Ego. Very similar to the NARS primer. I love those. Okay, let's start with Fair, because we know how intense Natasha Denona eyeshadows are, and I'm sure this will show up on my eyelids. So let's go ahead and start with Fair. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this retails $85 Canadian. So I don't know why it's not on the Sephora Canada website. Does anyone know? Is she not bringing her palettes to Sephora Canada? Yeah, so you can see with no eyeshadow and a little eyeshadow, this Shadow Fair is perfect to just set your eyelids. It's not too pink, not pulling too pink or too beige. It's not powdery. It's perfect shade to like prepare your eyelids for the next shadow. Okay, I think I'm gonna stay away from the warm tone, and I'm just gonna stick with the cool tone shades. So let's go into the lightest, and I think that's Mash right here with the same, and I'm just gonna put this in a transition here. And I love when I touch this palette, I don't see any type of product around the palette, so just be gentle. I'm very gentle when I touch the palettes because I spend my own money on this, and I don't really like to like wreck it. I want to take care of it, and I want it to last. They blend super nice. Very nice, soft. If you're wondering what I'm wearing on my lips, I know I'm going to get questions on that. It's this Pat McGrath lipstick. It's so pretty. It's like a lip balm. And this is in the shade Flesh 7598. It's kind of have weird names, but yeah, that's what's on my lips. I really love it. So let's do the same thing on this eye. They are very buttery. So these are mattes I'm using, so you can see. Let me show you. So when I touch the pen, look, you don't see any type of product falling out, right? And I'm touching it pretty hard. So this is more of a pinkish brown from what I see, the way it transfers on my eyes. It's described as a light dusty rose with a matte finish. Perfect description. Totally light and dusty rose. Oh, so pretty. Let's try Stone. This is described as a light medium warm taupe with a matte finish. So I'm just going to put this right above the crease with the same brush, just to add this shadow in here. Like normally I wouldn't go in as many shades as I would today. Well, I could, because sometimes I really get carried away and I just keep going. But I'm going to do it for the sake of the video and see if we can create like a nice everyday look with as many shades as I can to make it everyday. And keep in mind, my everyday look sometimes I like smoky, not just something too natural or minimal. So that is very pretty. I love how it blended together. So let's go into a smaller brush. I'm going to go BK Beauty 211. And let's try get into Tender. Now this is a medium taupe with a matte finish. This one you can see a little bit of powdery when you touch the shadow, so go very gentle. So it's just a tiny darker than the previous shade, which is perfect to put it in the crease here to intensify this area here. So don't worry, I'll be using this palette throughout other videos and you guys can see more looks that I come up with. So you can see how all this, there's 3 shades on my eyes. You can see how easy they blend, and they're still like perfect for every day. Now I'm gonna go back into my mesh right here, which was the first one with the first brush, and just add it a little bit here because we kind of lost some of that up here. So let me know if you guys picked up this palette, if you're excited for it, if you're more of a color person. I think it's really nice because my favorite Natasha Denona palette, let me show you, I've noticed that I use a lot, is this one that she came out with. And again, very nice. This is more warm. This is the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette because it comes with a blush and a highlighter. But this is what I've been using on a daily basis, and it's really pretty. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go into this darker shade. So I'm gonna choose Silhouette right now, right here. Oh, it's described as a coffee bean brown with a matte finish. I like it that I don't see any product in it. So the most product I've seen is with the shade Tender. And I'm just gonna add it in my outer corner. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna add this in my inner corner as well. So pretty. So I'm just dabbing it on my eyelid. I'm gonna do the same for the inner corner. And just we're gonna add a shimmery shade in the middle. Go into my second brush. I haven't done one of these eye looks in a long time. And I don't know, let's see which shimmer should I use. I think I'm gonna go into Whisper. That first shimmer, and just add it in the middle. This is like a light neutral pink with a nice metallic finish. Oh, so pretty. So now let's go ahead and kind of blend the dark one more so that it's not so intense. Just make sure you blend everything nicely. So let's do the same thing on this eye. Again, go into Silhouette, add some in the outer corner, and I don't see any fallout at all. You can't go wrong with this shade. So this is like, there's nothing bad to say about Natasha Denona's palette. That's why all I like to own is Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, Anastasia Beverly Hills. What else do I have? Dior, Tom Ford. Those palettes is just a pleasure to work with. So this dark shade blends very easily. Don't be afraid to use it. So I'm gonna go with Whisper and add it in the middle. Then I'm gonna intensify it more in the outer corners. Let's bring it all the way up to the crease here. I'm so excited. Okay, let's intensify this. I want a little bit more darker, and then just blend it. So I do think that Whisper is probably my favorite because there's like no chunky glitters. Very easy to work with. Yeah, with such a nice palette, I could not do one of this nice eye looks. Okay, so definitely this eye look is a little bit more glam for nighttime, but I'm loving it. I can wear it during the day too. So let's go back into Whisper. You know what I want to add? I want to add that pink since this has some pink in it. Let's go into Mia. Add a little bit on top. Yeah, this one has a little bit more glitter. So I went into Mia, this shade right here. Okay, so let's go for the bottom shade, bottom lashes now. You guys close enough? Yes, you are. Okay, so for the bottom, I'm gonna go with, let's see, this BK Beauty 210 brush, which is like a pencil brush. And I think I'm gonna go directly into this dark shade and just add it here. Very, very close to the lash line. I don't want it to make it too smoky, but I want to add a little bit of definition there. That's what I always say, and then I end up making it smoky. So go into a BK Beauty 211 and just blend the outer corner here. See the difference? It's just a little bit of definition to the eye, not too much. So I will stop kind of in the middle of my eye And then get that blending brush and blend it and then bring it inwards. What do you guys think? Isn't it pretty? I think I love it. So I think that's it for the eyes. I'm not gonna add any shimmers. Let me see if I should add a shimmer in the inner corner, but I don't know what shimmer I want. Maybe the same one, Whisper, or is it too dark? No, let's add Mia. I'm gonna go with Mia, a little bit on my finger, and add that in the inner corner just for that extra brightness there. I'm gonna go with a BK Beauty 207. Just blend these shimmers around here. That looks really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go ahead and put some mascara and I'll come back with final thoughts on this palette. Okay, so here is a final close-up look of the eyes. What do you guys think? I am loving how the eyes turned out. I think I can use this going outside today. It looks really, really pretty. Okay, final thoughts on this palette. Okay, Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Really, really pretty. What I'm loving about this palette is that I don't see a lot of pinks. I see those two shades. They do have some pink type of hues in them, but when you apply them to the eye, it's not that intense regular pinks that we see in Pat McGrath all the time, and it's like so repetitive. I feel like she has shades that are always so different. They look similar from previous palettes, but they do look so different on the eyes, and you can create so many stunning looks with this palette. I love how the eye look turned out. The shades were so easy to work with. There's no kick up in the pan at all, except this one. When you touch it, you see a little bit more product. When you touch the other ones so far, I've seen nothing. The shimmers and the shades are out of this world. I've only used this one and this one today. No, I've only used this one, which is Whisper and Mia today. You saw how nice everything else swatched. You can create so many fun looks. Like you can just have one shade and this shimmer all over the eye with a nice smoky effect underneath. I love it. I'm happy I have it. I'm happy I purchased it. I can't tell you that you need this palette. I can't tell you to buy it, but I hope that the review kind of give you an idea on what this palette is about, on how you can use it, on what all these shades are all about. And I hope you really like the look I've created. I wanted something different. I knew I wasn't going to go in with 2 or 3 or 4 looks like some YouTubers here, which is so much fun to watch, to get ideas from them. But I wanted to create something my own, something different, something out of my comfort zone, and something that it won't hurt my eyes to always take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, because you'll be seeing me use this palette in other videos as well. So to me, this palette is worth it. I'm happy I have it. I love the size of it, and I love Natasha Denona. I really want to purchase a lot from her. There's not one palette I don't love from her. Even though there's some shades in one palette that probably I won't use as often, I still like to purchase them because they're just so good, and I always find a way of using all shades that she comes up with in any palettes. So I'm excited to have it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this review. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.